Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Here we are reading the Lotus Feet of Lord Chaitanya. Hope everyone's doing well.
Yeah, it's very cold outside.
Yeah, gotta stay in. Keep warm. Stay healthy, mate.
Okay, it's Canto 3, Chapter 21, Text 1. New chapter, Conversation between Manu and Kardama.
Okay, exciting. And this is a long chapter as well. 111 pages. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Text 1. Vidura said, the line of Swayambhuva Manu was most esteemed, a worshipful sage. I beg you, give me an account of this race, whose progeny multiplied through sexual intercourse. Purport. Regulated sex life to generate good population is worth accepting. Actually, Vidura was not interested in hearing the history of persons who merely engage in sex life, but he was interested in the progeny of Swayambhuva Manu, because in that dynasty good devotee kings appeared, who protected their subjects very carefully with spiritual knowledge. By hearing the history of the activities, therefore, one becomes more enlightened. An important word used in this connection is paramasammata, which indicates that the progeny created by Swayambhuva Manu and his sons was approved of by great authorities. In other words, sex life for creating an exemplary population is acceptable to all sages and authorities of Vedic scripture.
Powerful. Any thoughts?
Yeah, it's like in the material world, everything's more or less perverted because we want to enjoy, but at the same time you can turn it around and engage everything in Krishna's service.
Yeah, very nice. Text 2. The two great sons of Swayambhuva Manu, Priyavrata and Uttanapad, ruled the world, consisting of 7 islands, just according to religious principles. So these are two great personalities. King Uttanapad we'll hear about in the 4th canto. Priyavrata, also maybe in the 4th canto. Or is it 5th? I can't remember now. Okay, purport. Srimad Bhagavatam is also a history of the great rulers of different parts of the universe. In this verse, the names of Priyavrata and Uttanapad, sons of Swayambhuva, are mentioned. They ruled this earth, which is divided into 7 islands. These 7 islands are still current as Asia, Europe, Africa, America, Australia, and North and South Poles. There is no chronological history of all the Indian kings in Srimad Bhagavatam, but the deeds of the most important kings, such as Priyavrata and Uttanapad, and many others like Lord Ramachandra, Maharaj Yudhisthira, are recorded because the activities of such pious kings are worth hearing. People may benefit by studying their histories. So it's powerful. This is also an important subject of the Bhagavatam, the dynasty of great personalities. Although later, I'm pretty sure, towards the end, 11th canto, there is a list of so many different rulers. But we see here that it's important to hear about these personalities, and also that principle of the 7 islands. You know, it's interesting. They're still existing to this day. Any thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Text 3. O holy Brahmana, O sinless one, you have spoken of his daughter, known by the name Devahuti, as the wife of the sage Kardama, the lord of created beings. Purport. Here we are speaking of Swayambhuva Manu, but in Bhagavad Gita we hear about Vaivasvata Manu. The present age belongs to the Vaivasvata Manu. Swayambhuva Manu was previously ruling, and his history begins from the Varaha age, or the millennium when the Lord appeared as the bull. There are 14 Manus in one day of the life of Brahma, and in the life of each Manu there are particular incidents. The Vaivasvata Manu of Bhagavad Gita is different from Swayambhuva Manu.
Okay, so in one day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus, and specific things happen in each life of a Manu. And we're currently in the age of Vaivasvata Manu. I can't remember, but I think he might be the 7th or 8th Manu. But Swayambhuva Manu, as far as I recall, he was the first Manu on this day of Lord Brahma. Anything? Text 4. How many offspring did the great yogi beget through how many offspring did the great yogi beget through the princess, who was endowed with eightfold perfection in the yoga principles? Oh, pray tell me this, for I am eager to hear it. Purport. Here Vidura inquired about Kardama Muni and his wife Devahuti, and about their children. It is described here that Devahuti was very much advanced in the performance of the eightfold yoga. The 8 divisions of yoga performance are described as control of the senses, strict following of the rules and regulations, practice of the different sitting postures, control of the breath, withdrawing the senses from their sense objects, concentration of the mind, meditation, and self-realization. After self-realization, there are 8 further perfectional stages, which are called yoga siddhis. The husband and wife, Kardama and Devahuti, were advanced in yoga practice. The husband was a Mahayogi, great mystic, and his wife was a Yoga Lakshana, or one advanced in yoga. They united and produced children. Formerly, after making their lives perfect, great sages and saintly persons used to beget children. Otherwise, they strictly observed the rules and regulations of celibacy. Brahmacharya, following the rules and regulations of celibacy, is required for perfection of self-realization and mystic power. There is no recommendation in the Vedic scriptures that one can go on enjoying material sense gratification at one's whims, as one likes, and at the same time become a great meditator by paying a rascal some money. Jai Prabhupada. So that's powerful. So brahmacharya is required for perfection. It's not that you can go on trying to enjoy your whims and everything and think you're going to make spiritual advancement. So that's important.
It's also interesting, it's formerly after making their lives perfect, great sages and saintly persons used to beget children. Which sometimes we see it the other way around, where you go, study, get married, have kids, and then you think, right, this is often what my dad would say, I'm going to the Himalayas to, retire or whatever. He won't last 2 seconds there. I know that. I'm his daughter. I wouldn't either. So he'd always say that. But here it's like, first they perfect themselves, first they get in, because then you beget good, you attract the jiva that nice is perfect, that is that can rule, like it says here, that can advance civilization. Unfortunately nowadays that's not the way it's done, and it's so easy to just have a child, and it's hard to get a driving license, to get a job, to so many things. You have to wait till you vote or this or that, but even kids can have kids, and
it can bring a jiva into the world with no qualification, no matter what age. Very powerful points. Okay, text
5. O holy sage, tell me how the worshipful Ruchi and Daksha, the son of Brahma, generated children after securing as their wives the other 2 daughters of Swayambhuva Manu. Purport. All the great personalities who increase the population in the beginning of the creation are called Prajapatis. Brahma is also known as Prajapati, as were some of his later sons.
I think that word would be Prajapatis, not Prajapatis. It'd be slightly different.
It depends what part of the universe you come from.
It depends on how you pronounce it according to Sanskrit. The Praja is long A, so that means Prajapati, not Praja. It's not Praja, it's Praja. Pati. And I am Pati, and you can Prajapati. Anyway.
Right. Swayambhuva Manu is also known as Prajapati, as is Daksha, another son of Brahma. Swayambhuva had two daughters, Akuti and Prasuti. The Prajapati Ruchi, married Akuti and Daksha married Prasuti. Jeepers. These couples and their children produced immense numbers of children to populate the entire universe. Vidura's inquiry was, how did they beget the population in the beginning? That's a bit naive, really. Why are you asking?
How do you think?
Vidura?
Okay, so Daksha married Prasuti, or Prasuti. It's not a sh, it's a s, Prasuti. And Ruchi married Akuti. And so Brahma's sons were Ruchi and Daksha. Okay. But Swayambhuva Manu's daughters were Prasuti. Because I think he had 4. Devahuti, Prasuti, Akuti, and maybe one more. I thought there was a 4th daughter. Okay. Text 6. The great sage Maitreya replied, commanded by Lord Brahma to beget children in the worlds, the worshipful Kardama Muni practiced penance on the bank of the river Saraswati for a period of 10,000 years. Now this is interesting because, get this, so, excuse me, Vidura has asked these 2 questions. The first one is, how many offspring did Kardama Muni get with Devahuti? And then he asks about Daksha and Ruchi. Okay, so what you get is like, this is where the question's asked. Now we get into the answer, which will be very long, over many, many chapters. And later we're going to find he's talking about Daksha and Ruchi. And you're going to be like, why is he talking about this? Where did this come from? But this is where the question is asked. That makes sense? It's important. Okay. So, great sage Maitreya replied, commanded by Lord Brahma to beget children in the worlds, the worshipful Kardama Muni practiced penance on the bank of the river Saraswati for a period of 10,000 years. 10,000 years he was practicing penance. Purport. It is understood herein that Kardama Muni meditated in yoga for 10,000 years before attaining perfection. Similarly, we have information that Valmiki Muni also practiced yoga meditation for 60,000 years before attaining perfection. Therefore, yoga practice can be successfully performed by persons who have a very long duration of life, such as 100,000 years. And that way it is possible to have perfection in yoga. Otherwise, there is no possibility of attaining the real perfection. Following the regulations, controlling the senses, and practicing the different sitting postures are merely the preliminary practices. We do not know how people can be captivated by the bogus yoga system in which it is stated that simply by meditating 15 minutes daily, one can attain the perfection of becoming one with God. This age, Kali Yuga, is the age of bluffing and quarrel. Actually, there is no possibility of attaining yoga perfection by such paltry proposals. The Vedic literature, for emphasis, clearly states 3 times that in this age of Kali, Kalau nashteva, 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 there is no other alternative, no other alternative, no alternative other than Hare Nam, chanting the holy name of the Lord. What does that mean?
No, it's true.
I didn't quite get it. It says, the Vedic literature for emphasis clearly states 3 times. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, like Prabhupada, because obviously at the time someone was doing that, some yoga thing where meditate 15 minutes and become one with God.
Well, this was a standard thing.
I'll just finish that point.
Oh, sorry. But thank you. No, I apologize for that. It has been brought to my attention, so that I cut her off, and I apologize for that.
It
So
still
please.
is, but anyway. Yeah. But this is because now we see another revival. It seems it was there in the 60s or this, but again, these key words like yoga and hot yoga and hatha yoga, people are into these things. This sort of stuff sells. I mean, every other person is a yoga teacher, and they Instagram and this and that. So it's like, because when I'm reading it, I think, but people are so naive, but because they don't know what, as Prabhupada explained to us, that's how we know that the real point or whatever of yoga is to connect. It's to be, it's the divine connection. And so if you don't know the purpose of it and why we should do it, then we do stay on that material level and how it's promoted, which is look how beautiful your body will be, and you'll be toned, and it just helps me at the most, calm down and get rid of my stresses, and then you finish the class and go and have a cigarette or whatever, But yes, it's quite sad really, that because it's a very ancient art. It's not something nowadays people may not appreciate, a lot of people, how old it is and how sacred it is, but it's definitely abused. Yoga is so common, it's such a cheap, yoga, but it's very deep.
Very nice. I mean, it was in the previous purport, right, that Prabhupada mentioned Astanga Yoga, the 8 limbs. But most people, they just do asana or pranayam. They do like a couple of them, but they don't follow the rules and regulations. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, dhyana, like that. They don't, maybe they do some meditation, maybe they do. But actually, to achieve spiritual perfection, you have to follow all of them. But there is some side benefit, I guess, And that's what people are looking for in the modern day. Interestingly enough, though, to be honest, I haven't done a poll or something, but I think a lot of people who get into yoga have a natural inclination towards the mode of goodness, and also a natural inclination or receptivity towards spiritual knowledge. I think, even, so it's kind of like a window or a doorway into that. I know I started doing yoga and meditation because I thought it was going to help me to be more spiritual, which it does, obviously, but all I was having access to was like doing asanas and yoga and some different kinds of meditation. So there are a lot of the Prabhupada said, bluffer, it's the age of what? Bluffing and...
Bluffers.
No, not bluffing and bluffers. Quarrel. Bluffing and quarrel. Shirade. Okay. Should we read another one?
Text 7. During that period of penance, the sage Kardama, by worship through devotional service in trance, propitiated the personality of Godhead, who is the quick bestower of all blessings upon those who flee to him for protection. Purport. The significance of meditation is described here. Kadava Muni practiced mystic yoga meditation for 10,000 years just to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari. Therefore, whether one practices yoga or speculates and does research to find God, one's efforts must be mixed with the process of devotion. Without devotion, nothing can be perfect. The target of perfection and realization is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly said that one who constantly engages in Krishna consciousness is the topmost yogi. The Personality of Godhead, Hari, also fulfills the desires of his surrendered devotee. One has to surrender unto the lotus feet of the Personality of Godhead, Hari or Krishna, in order to achieve royal success. Devotional service or engagement in Krishna consciousness is the direct method, and all other methods, although recommended, are indirect. In this age of Kali, the direct method is especially more feasible than the indirect, because people are short-lived, their intelligence is poor, and they are poverty-stricken and embarrassed by so many miserable disturbances. Lord Chaitanya therefore has given the greatest boon in this age. One simply has to chant the holy name of God to attain perfection in spiritual life.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The words Samprapade Harim mean that in various ways Kardama Muni satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari by his devotional service. Devotional service is also expressed by the word Kriya Yogena. We also hear about Kriya Yoga. Kardama Muni not only meditated but also engaged in devotional service. To attain perfection in yoga practice or meditation, one must act in devotional service by hearing, chanting, remembering, etc. Remembering is meditation also. But who is to be remembered? That is the question. One should remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not only must one remember the Supreme Person, one must hear about the activities of the Lord and chant His glories. This information is in the authoritative scriptures. After engaging himself for 10,000 years in performing different types of devotional service, Kardama Muni attained the perfection of meditation. But that is not possible in this age of Kali, wherein it is difficult to live for as much as 100 years. At the present moment, who will be successful in the rigid performance of the many yoga rules and regulations? Moreover, perfection is attained only by those who are surrendered souls. Where there is no mention of the personality of Godhead, where there is no mention of the personality of Godhead, where is their surrender? And where there is no meditation upon the personality of Godhead, where is the yoga practice? Unfortunately, people in this age, especially persons who are of the demoniac nature, want to be cheated. Thus, the Supreme Personality of Godhead sends great cheaters who mislead them in the name of yoga and render their lives useless and doomed. Shoo. And Bhagavad Gita is therefore clearly stated in the 16th chapter, verse 17, that rascals of self-made authority, being puffed up by the illegally collected money, perform yoga without following the authoritative books. They are very proud of the money they have plundered from innocent persons who want to be cheated. Wow. Powerful purport, huh? Any thoughts?
The last sentence, they're very proud of the money they have plundered from innocent persons who wanted to be cheated. Because you're looking, some people don't know what they're looking for, but some, are not, maybe see certain rules and regulations elsewhere and think, okay, well I can deal with this.
Can deal with what?
Like a lower level. like certain spiritual communities
I see.
offer less rules and regulations, and then they may go to some that are like, you have to do this, you have to do that, and so they go elsewhere. So you're asking to be cheated, really.
Yeah.
And then they come back.
Yeah, you're not willing to put in the work. You just want the pill, take a quick pill and be slim. Or what is it people do now? They like go and have their tummy tucked or something. You know?
Liposuction.
Or whatever, it's like they want the quick thing. But that's going to lead to some other issues. So you're just looking to cheat yourself. What do you have to do? Watch your diet, exercise.
What can you do? It's in your DNA.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you all very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai.